Shalom Akim. I'm going to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakha, Kadash. Double honors the elders and apostles of GMS who teach and rule well. And salutations to all the Akim, all four corners of earth who's pushing his truth and sincerity. Shalom Akim. I want to get into this article here about these, America allowed these Chinese, what were they, national security guys to come to America, and they almost poisoned the food system. Poisoned our grain systems and our plants and stuff, man, with these fungi that they came from China with, man. It says Chinese researchers allegedly plot to smuggle crop-killing fungus into U.S. as an attack on U.S. food supply. And this is with the feds. What the Queen think the feds knew about these guys, So it was two people, and it says the national security authorities and members of Congress are raising alarm over the alleged plot by two romantically involved Chinese researchers to smuggle samples of a dangerous crop-killing fungus into the U.S. Now, a year or two ago, before our boy Trump got into office, Esau was allowing, when Biden and Kamala were running, they allowed a bunch of people to cross into the borders, man, from the north, from California. They had to cut those down, and they went on coming through Texas. And when you look at the images and the pictures of these people, because one thing about Esau, he paints a picture that the Northern Kingdom are the only ones coming across that border. But around this time, you had all sorts of nationalities coming across that border. You had pure Africans coming across that border. You had Arabs coming across that border, and you had Chinese coming across the border. And that was the scary part when you seen it, for the most part. When you look at, you like, God damn, these are some grown Chinese men. How the hell did they end up in Mexico? So then come to find out, they did. Everything is by design. Nothing is by mistake. So you go to the Chinese YouTube, they got a whole plans, and when you get to Mexico, who to get in touch with. They got whole scripts and everything planned out for them for when they are ready to flee China and try to come to America. So with all that going on, basically these are America's enemies coming into this country, and they are not here for to make America great again. And that's one thing that's the guys that a lot of the people are under, man. That America's going to be great. It's going to build itself back up again. That's a lie, The scriptures speak about Babylon. The Lord says that if it would have been healed, then he would have healed it, roughly paraphrasing, But this place is not going to be healed, man. This is the end of it, man. We're at the end of this wicked place, man. This wicked society. But like I said, they allowed all their enemies into the country. And so right now, we know them as sleeper cells. These guys are just waiting to get that call, waiting to get that instruction to go out and do what they're supposed to do. So how did the feds know about these two Chinese people that all of a sudden they just knew that they were getting ready to go to a certain area where a lot of our food and grain is stored and just go ahead and unleash these fungi into this stuff, man? How did they know these things, man? Proverbs 4:14. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away. Like I say, man, that Kamala and Biden, those are some wicked people, man. For them to just allow the open border, and knowing, America goes out and starts a lot of wars and proxy wars in different places. So therefore, America has manufactured its own enemies for the most part. Think about the ISIS and the different, Middle East gangs that they have out there, and call them warlords and stuff. A lot of them are set up by the Mossad and the CIA, plain and simple. We broke it down from the ISIS to with these Toyota trucks and to the way they are, the production of the videos they were doing. It was just too clean and too cut, man. We knew that this was more to it than what they were showing us. Proverbs 4:16, for they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall, man. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. And this Esau, he drinks that wine of violence, man. And like I said, he planned this out from the beginning. This devil knows that he has but a short time. He knows that his queendom is falling apart, and he knows that it's getting ready to be obliterated. Speaking about the elites. So therefore, they have to paint the picture to the sheeple that everything's going to be all right. And once again, like I said a second ago, they're going to build back. We've been here before. We've been down and out before. We're going to build America back up and get great again. That's the words they speak out. But at the flip side, America has been a thorn to the world, man. It's been a thorn to the world, and it comes in that peace and safety. And then what happens? Sudden destruction happens, man. That's the MO of America, of Babylon the Great. I'll bring that back again. It's Proverbs 4:16. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence, man. So the whole time Esau was allowing his enemies into this country, it was for a reason. We're going to have something called order out of chaos. We're going to have civil unrest, and while the civil unrest is started, it could be Esau's going to probably try to point the fingers in different directions, man. He could blame it on his own, or he could blame it on the nationals of the different nationality of people who they let into the country, man. But at the end of the day, you Israelites are going to be in trouble if you don't, because you're not going to repent, for one. You're going to go to your enemy for help, because you have to go to him. I'm just watching and just analyzing, the different heathens that are over us, and Elam, where was it? How did the conversation go? Because I was just talking to somebody, and I went in deep thought myself, and I was just thinking about the different islands and the different places, with the different hoods you go to. Elam is connected to our hip, He makes his money off of us, in our neighborhoods, and he's okay. It's not even okay. He's oblivious to it, man. We keep a lot of these heathen nations going. Elam would be just a middle of the dot forehead stinking booty motherfucker if it wasn't for us who puts money in his pockets, because we have to deal with him, man. And that's part of the curses, man. This is Isaiah 30 and 30, and I'm gonna start at the top. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of mine, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, and they may add sin to sin. They walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. And our people are trusting in this place so much, while the elites are trying to destroy this place. Our people are still trying to get a hold here in America. They're still trying to get the same. They want to get the 40 acres and the mules still that they were promised. These things, and because of that, because of your trust in Pharaoh and his system, you're going to be destroyed because of that. Here it is once again, where these Chinese dudes almost unleashed havoc on our food system. And what would you Israelites have done, man? What would you have done? You would have went to took whatever the government would have gave you, did whatever the government asked you to do. Why? Because we know that you're docile. We've seen tests run before with that jump shot that came out not too long ago. So we know how docile and weak our people are, man. This is Isaiah 9:16. For the leaders of his people cause them to err, and they that are led of them are destroyed, man. So you continuously trusting in Egypt, you continuously listening to your leaders, and they're allowing people who want to kill you and put harm to your babies and stuff into this country, man. These Chinese, these other, these Arabs, they remember what's going on in Yemen. They remember the bombings and stuff that's going on, man. They still are upset over these things, man. A lot of these countries where America is winning and toppled their government, you know, they're here in America right now, and they're ready to do the same thing to the American government, man. You know, so as we get closer and closer to the end, we're going to be hearing about more and more of these nationalities. And who's to say, like I said, America allows them to come in. America knew these guys. I'm speaking about the feds. They knew these guys, you know, and they just wanted to, you know, keep you on your toes or keep you in a state of fear. It's one of the two. That's the way the devil moves, man. But yeah, I seen this article and I just, you know, thought it was interesting. Like I said, I seen him on the news. And it hit the news for like damn near a week, you know, on the internet, on you know, not on regular news, but on the news that matters when they're speaking about international stuff. But yeah, I was like, wow, man, you know. But it's that time, man. You know, this is nothing is of shock value to us anymore, because like I say, when we knew that this place was really doomed, when they just flooded the borders and they just was letting people in left and right. And what are they trying to do right now? Now they're trying to clean up the shit that the last policy they've done. But they're in bed with each other, because at the end of the day, if it doesn't go Nero's way, then he's going to call for martial law. And that's what's at the door right now. Martial law is knocking at the door. With that being said, this is edifying. Shalom, Akim.